with no further ado, let's jump right into how to use these for prospecting and sales. So these are just kind of a couple of ideas. We have a full downloadable PDF that has, a full-on sales letter and things like that that you can use. But these are some of the things that we're seeing folks use, in a fairly, efficient and highly results-driven way. Let's say they get pretty good results out of these. And if you've got a solid prospect that you think is going to be worth a fair amount of money for you, a couple days before that sales call, issue a press release on their behalf, just talking about them, talking about how great their business is, and then you can kind of use that as part of that sales call and that sales demonstration to show that, hey, look, we can get you placement on places, we can get you visibility, we can get you publicity, we can help you with branding. It's obviously less SEO related because they're not necessarily going to understand the SEO benefits of it, but what it does is it really helps build your credibility in their eyes, that you can indeed deliver that. Similarly, if you send out a press release after a sales call and you could say, hey, look, this is what we can do for you. You can be a little bit more picky that way. If they're interested, but they're still on the fence a little bit, you can kind of give them a little taste of what they can get. And then, another great thing that you can use to close out a deal is to offer a premium release for free. Normally you would charge $800 for this, but you'll give it to them for free, that first one, once they sign up with you. These are the types of things that you can use, especially those of you who are on this call are on our unlimited plan, so your per press release cost in volume gets pretty low, and so it becomes very effective to use these types of prospecting press releases and to use them to close the deal, so to speak. And then the other thing that you should certainly not sleep on is using them inside of your own agency. If you sign a big contract with a major client where people are going to recognize the name, send out a press release, right? Build your own brand. I know I've talked before about how prospects research your company when they try to decide who to do business with, and that's one of the angles that we like to use in order to sell press releases, right? Because we want that client to understand that, hey, look, if you're putting good quality press releases out, that really sets you out in front of the prospect in a way that your competition can't do, and so you look more legit and they're more likely to do business with you. Well, the same thing goes for you too in your agency, right? Similarly, the same way you would want to have good rankings and you'd want to have good testimonials and things like that, you also need to use press releases so people can see that, hey, look, we've got these news articles about you. And then you can leverage that too as part of your sales process and say, look, we're able to do this for ourselves. We can certainly do this for you too. People do get impressed by that, especially in those those ego verticals that we've talked about before, where they really love to see their name in lights. This is a game changer for those types of clients. So this is kind of the top 4 things that I like to use press releases for from a prospecting perspective. Another, you can use these general concepts in more creative ways too. Let's say you have a podcast and you want to land more, podcast guests. Well, send out a press release about every podcast guest that you have, and then you can use that as that pitch to those guests that you want to land to come on your podcast. That, hey, look, they're going to get some free press out of the deal. People are always looking for that sort of thing. So be creative with how you're using them, especially those of you, since you're on unlimited plans, that per unit cost is so much cheaper. You can really get some great value out of that.